Hi my loves, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing low-key luxury bags that I think are worth buying and ones I think you should avoid. So this topic has been really popular. I've done a similar video before where I've done my top 10 low-key luxury bags. I will link it above, and so many of you wanted me to expand on this. So I'm going to be sharing bags that I actually really dislike and ones I think you should avoid, even if they're understated. So let's quickly define what low-key means. So low-key to me means like very minimal logos, discreet branding, sort of a bit more clean, understated, something that it's not that recognizable. So the first bag that I think is totally worth buying and was on my wish list, I've actually got to show you. And this, I cannot believe it. So it's from Louisa V. Aroma. I thought I missed out on this bag because the color was a seasonal color, but luckily I got a notification from Shoptagger that it was back in stock. So let me show you. It comes in this dust bag. It is dun, 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 the Bottega Veneta mini Jodie bag. Oh my goodness. For those of you that have been following me, you know this bag was on my wish list and I wanted this color. So I'm so glad I got that notification because these bags sell out so quickly. And that's one thing about Shoptagger I love. I mean, besides letting you know that things are on sale, hot to get items, they let you know if it's like out of stock or back in stock. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a sec. Let me just tell you why I wanted this bag. Firstly, how cute is it? It is so on trend with all the mini bag trend that's been happening the last couple of years. Secondly, Bottega Veneta is so known for their weave pattern. This is called, please excuse my Italian, this weave is called intrecciato. And it is iconic Bottega Veneta. I mean, I think they started it on their bags in the 1970s and it is just, yeah, when you look at a weave bag, you just think Bottega Veneta. Well, I do anyway. And it's so good that I think they were the it brand of last year. And you just can't go wrong with their classic weave pattern. So this is my number one pick of if you wanted to get a classy understated bag, this is my number one pick. Look, you don't see any logos. For those that are aware of Bottega, obviously they would know because of the weave, but there are a lot of bags out there that have weaves, but it is very iconic to Bottega. So the BV Jodie comes in a few sizes. So the one I have here is the mini. It comes in a medium, it comes in a large, and then it also comes in a maxi, I believe. And they just keep releasing new colors of this. I'm so glad I got it, but I seriously would not have been able to get it if it wasn't for Shoptagger. So like I said, let me explain how Shoptagger works. So I know a lot of you are familiar with Shoptagger already. I've worked with them for over 3 years. So this video is part sponsored by Shoptagger. And for those of you that have never heard about them or you have downloaded the app and you just haven't used it, you are missing out. All the sales are going to be coming up in the next few months, you know, with Black Friday and even new season sales. So if you are after any item, it is really worthwhile to download their app. Okay, so all you need to do is go and install Shoptagger. It's completely for free. Just sign up. It's really quick. And the first thing to do is to download the extension button. So I would do this in Chrome. I find it works better. And then it makes things a lot easier to save. So then that's where you will see this little S at the top and that's going to help you save. So just say we go over to Louisa V. Aroma and I'm going to be talking about this exact bag, the mini Jodie. So just say you are after this gorgeous red color. All you need to do is click that button and you'll show the prompt. So you just save it. And I want to be notified when there's any discount and then you save it to a list. And so if we go back over into my Shoptagger account, you can see that is saved. So if you look at my list, I've been using Shoptagger for so long, so there's a lot of lists in there. You can see my wish list and it's separated into bags, shoes, clothes, etc. And so it will let you know when something goes on sale, when something is out of stock, back in stock, and you can see that I've fulfilled a lot of items that I've wanted because I've used this app. So you can see here that I've got all these notifications from Shoptagger, and I actually select that to be notified via email and mobile. It's up to you how you want to set it, but obviously when something goes on sale, I want to be able to like jump on it straight away. And one of my most favorite features that I love about Shoptagger is that it searches the web for coupon codes. So if I'm going back to Louisa Vera Roma, I've got a few things in my cart. Shoptagger will be like, okay, let me just have a look for you, and it will scour through the net, and then you will see whether there's no buyer's remorse or it might have just saved you some money. And who doesn't love saving money on designer items? And I'm really excited to announce that they've just got an added feature, which is their cashback option. So I think this site is like all in one. You get coupons, and then you can even on certain retailers get cashback on, and they'll let you know in your list if you can actually, get cashback on those items or not. So how fabulous is that? It's an app that saves you money. It's free. It helps you get hard to get items like this. And absolutely you can save as you go on your mobile. So do check out the link down below. You are going to thank me because Shoptagger is going to save you money and you're going to get the items you want. So that is the number one low-key luxury bag that I think is totally worth getting. So talking about the first bag that I think you should avoid, and like I said, guys, this is my personal opinion, but it's also from Bottega Veneta. Now, this has been such a popular bag, and my opinion probably is an unpopular opinion, but let me explain why. So the bag that I think is not really worth it, even though it's understated, and you guys know I love Bottega as a brand, is the pouch bag. And firstly, it is very oversized. So I'm specifically talking about the plain version. I actually think the smaller ones are pretty cute in the weave pattern, but I just think that the really big one, it's just not that user-friendly. One, I don't wear clutches that much already. And it really only can be handheld. There is no shoulder strap or anything. That's why with the smaller one, I can kind of get, but the bigger one, it is just like a really over exaggerated dumpling. And when I first saw it, I didn't like it. And I thought, it might be one of those bags that I grow to love, but I still don't like it. Sorry for those of you that do own it. Just personally for me, I just think there are so many gorgeous low-key bags out there, and I do think that's a very trendy piece. Whereas for this one, there's vintage versions of this Jodie, and the fact that they've reinterpreted it, I just think there's much more mileage in this. If you really love the pouch, go for the mini one. At least go for it in the weave pattern, because the weave pattern is really iconic to Bottega. So the big fat pouch in the plain leather, it's a no from me. So the second bag that makes my list of worth buying is from one of my favorite brands, and it is from Saint Laurent. And I am talking about the Saint Laurent Loulou bag. Now, the version that I have here is actually the big puffer style in the medium, so the biggest size that it comes in. But why do I think this particular one is a low-key bag? Yes, normally Saint Laurent bags have that big YSL logo. You can see it here, but can you tell in the So Black version, it is much more minimal. It is much more understated. If you say, wear it on the shoulder like this, because it's not in the gold or the silver hardware, a lot of people wouldn't be able to tell. And what I love, so I bought this last year. I've had it for about maybe a year now, and I love this bag. But when I looked at the new collection from YSL the past few months, I was really glad to see that they've introduced a lot more with this hardware. So it started with just like the So Black. Even in the ever popular, for example, this toy Loulou style, which is still in the same family as the Pufferloo, this is just the puffer version. I saw that they've done it with the all black hardware, which is just a lot more discreet. So you still get the branding, but it's just not as obvious. I also saw in their collection, not even just in the Loulou, in the Nikki, they not just doing it in the black, but they started having matching hardware. So I love this suede version with the matching matte hardware. I think that looks so classy, and it's just a lot more understated. I think with YSL, it's nice to see that besides the black black hardware. They have the cream. I also saw, I think, a tan version that's just, you know, it just blends into the bag, which I love. So if you prefer that, if you're a YSL fan and you've never liked, you know, the big logo, though, look, I love the logo too, but I actually purposely waited for this because I was this close to getting the one with the gold, but I actually love this version with the So Black hardware. So for that reason, I would recommend you getting a YSL bag. These styles also are pretty, you know, I would say pretty classic for Saint Laurent. The fact that they've made this in so many sizes, like the toy Loulou, the small, the medium, the puffer. Now the puffer comes in a small and also a baby version. It just goes to show these bags are not going away anytime soon. So if you wanted to know more about this bag, I've actually done a really in-depth review of this versus another very popular style, which is the mini Lou camera bag. Oh, that one even comes with, you know, So Black hardware. And best of all, Saint Laurent prices are really good compared to other designer brands. So on the flip side, the second bag that I think you shouldn't waste your money on, even though I love the brand, can you see a theme here, is also from Saint Laurent. So some of their new releases I love, but I was, how to say, very underwhelmed with a couple of their new arrivals. I don't know if you guys even seen this yet, and I'm surprised they actually released this. I can't see it being that popular. So the first one is actually called the Joan, and I'll put a picture up here. Does that or does that not look so plain? I mean, if you wanted that Y stitching, you could go for the Loulou, you could go for so many of their bags. And this, to me, I've actually seen so many brands that already try to do dupes of Saint Laurent, but this looks like a dupe and they don't want it to be a dupe. And additionally, that satchel shape, that half moon shape, I'm already not a huge fan of, but in this combination, for it just being plain, I just think it looks a bit boring, to be honest. And understated doesn't have to mean boring. You know, you could get the sac de jour, and that might not scream YSL for the untrained eye. So sorry if you like that bag, but I don't like it. Another one that was new, which I didn't really like as well, is called please excuse my pronunciation, but it's called the Sorbonne. So very new style. So again, this is a big satchel style. The front of it is just like a buckle. One, as I said, I don't like that shape that much, but two, it looks like a big sack. Like the size just looks really big. It looks really plain. You guys know I'm a huge lover of a canvas and leather mix, but this just does not look that luxurious. I know it comes in the leather versions, but when I saw the canvas and it was just a plain buckle, I just wasn't a fan. So the Joan and the Sorbonne, I think you should avoid. The next bag that I think is going to be super popular, and I don't even know if I can get my hands on this cutie. It is not out yet. Or actually, by the time this video goes live, I think it should just be out, but apparently you can pre-order it, but I haven't pre-ordered it yet. But I love it, and it's from Louis Vuitton. Let me put it on screen. It is the Speedy BB in black lambskin. And this is pretty much as understated Louis Vuitton as you can get. So as you can see, because it's black and the monogram is just embossed into the leather, it's not as loud as their classic, you know, canvas monogram, which by the way, I love. That's not something that is low-key because everyone recognizes the LV logo. But this one in the black, it's not that obvious. That's why I think certain LV leathers like the Empreinte or especially the Epi is more of an understated material. It is a tad bigger than the Nano Speedy, and it is obviously inspired by their travel collection from the 1930s. This one has a removable strap. That's the biggest, you know, my biggest gripe about the Nano Speedy, that why couldn't they just have made it with a, you know, removable strap? But this one comes with a removable strap. How gorgeous is it? I can't say anything else. I think this one is going to be super popular. I reckon it's a big yes. It's worth getting. It's in the iconic shape. So big ticks from me. So on the topic of LV, I've got to give you one that I think you should avoid. Now, what I'm talking about, I love this actual style of bag, but not The design. As we all know, LV monogram is iconic. Yes, it is not that subtle, but I love it. I just love LV monogram. So the bag that I'm talking about that I think you should avoid is the LV on the go. And you're thinking, Mel, you own the on the go tote. I absolutely do. And I love it. As I said, it's not about the style. But the new recent released crafty collection in it, I don't like it. I love art as well, and this whole crafty collection, this one here, it's supposed to be a bit graffiti inspired. I just think it looks like a mishmash. I don't like the color combo, and especially the one that they've made here, it's in the GM side, so it's a whole lot of big print. It's not going to be easy to match. It's just, if you want to go for an on the go, just go for the plain monogram, or the one I have, which is the reverse monogram. Or if you don't even want it that loud, the MM is such a good size that you can go for. And, they're even coming out with other versions in plain epi leather. So if you love the style, there are a lot more other options. I get it that LV want to be a bit creative and everything. And some of the crafty collection is okay, just not for me. But this one is just too loud, too much. So yeah, avoid that. The next bag that I think is worth getting, again, this is going to come at no surprise because it's also a bag that I've mentioned that's on my wish list from my favorite brand, Hermes, and I am talking about the Herbag. Now, for me, I specifically want to find a vintage version because one, the price will be a lot better, and I'm sort of wanting to hunt down a vintage Hermes bag. So this is what the Herbag looks like, and it has a similar shape and it gives you sort of Kelly vibes, but it is one, way easier to get in store, and two, the price is much more reasonable. I say reasonable because it is still a pricey bag. The one that I want to get is probably, I'm not sure on the color combo, but it's canvas and a leather mix. I think I like the natural, but I am open. The beauty about looking for one vintage is that, it's a little bit of excitement on the thrill of hunting for the one that you love. And this style, I just think it's such a classy bag. I mean, Hermes in general, they don't have huge logos everywhere, generally speaking, but the Herbag, it is much more understated. It's got a casual vibe with the canvas, and I love the Kelly. Melly loves Kellys. It's sort of like in the family of Kellys because it kind of still looks like it. And another thing that I just had to mention, because I have been saving some on my list as well. Did you know that with Shoptagger, you can sort of save from some of the pre-loved sites as well? So I have actually been saving onto my Shoptagger list. I actually have a list called Vintage. So do check that out. So I think that is a bag that's definitely worth buying, worth considering, especially on the pre-loved market, because you can pick one up for like half the retail price, maybe even less. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a completely different brand in terms of a bag that is low-key, but I think you should avoid. So this brand that I'm talking about, I've never been a fan of. I've admitted that to you guys, and I'm talking about Chloe bags. I just never have been a fan of Chloe bags. It's not that they are poorly made. Some of their designs I don't mind, but it's like Chloe has had some it bags, but I feel like every year it kind of changes. It changes too often for my liking. So you've seen ones even way back, and I totally admit I loved the Paddington. Who remembers the Paddington with the big lock? I loved that bag. If you see one in the pre-loved market, they are going for like dirt cheap. And I don't buy bags for investments. I actually don't think bags are investments. But anyway, that's besides the point. You can look at the likes of the Paddington and even their classic styles like the Drew or even the Marcy. And they are, pretty understated bags. So I just don't like that they seem a little bit like they're really in and then they get really out. As I mentioned, the Paddington, what's another one? Oh, the Nile bag, the one with the ring. Look, a lot of people still love it. There's nothing wrong with the quality of Chloe. It's just like, it's almost like you see they're really in and then like, oh my gosh, that's so out. That bag was so 2018 sort of thing. So I don't like that about Chloe. I don't mind some of the Chloe shoes and some of their, there's a couple of their bags that are okay, but Yeah, I'm just the Drew bag, their bigger Marcy bag. The mini one is not too bad, but their bigger version, I think we're sort of seeing a theme. It sort of looks like a satchel. I'm just not a fan of. So if you want a understated luxury bag, I don't think you should go for Chloe. And lastly, something that I think is totally worth buying and something that I love. This isn't a bag, but I wanted to sort of like put it in there because I love this style so much. And it's actually a belt. And I thought this was definitely worth a mention, and it's totally worth the money because this Kelly belt is adjustable. You can adjust it. So I've worn my Kelly belt so much. It can be worn with dresses. It can be worn with high-waisted jeans. It looks really classy with just, you know, the Kelly lock like this. And I just think you can't go wrong. I love it. I own it in gold, I own it in black, and I would add another one in a color. So I really love this belt because it is just so functional, it's so versatile, it's so classic. There's no huge logoing on it, and I just think you can't go wrong with this belt. Plus, it is just made really well, and it's in Epsom, which is really durable as well. If I'm talking about belts, you kind of see that people, and I've mentioned this before in my video, buy these belts, avoid these. And I said that in that video already, which was like over a year ago, that, you know, especially with the Gucci belts, which I still own, I actually own it, the Gucci Marmont belts, you know, you're just not seeing people wear it as much. And look, that's due to the fact that when we loved the Gucci Marmont range, we went crazy and almost like everyone, you know, had a Marmont bag and a Marmont, you know, belt. And I still have mine. I haven't sold it. It's not like I don't like it, but you definitely do see the shift, especially this year. Not so big, loud, bold sort of belts. I've kind of seen the belts be a lot more understated, a lot more plain, you know, from the hardware to just the leather, you know, from all the brands. And that's not to say that, you know, I'm going to get rid of my LV monogram belts or some of my Gucci belts. I'm keeping them all. But I'm just saying, if you wanted an understated belt that's going to last you forever, you are never going to go wrong with an Hermes. Whereas in, people might find it a little bit loud, for example, if you're wearing a big Valentino or Versace, or even though it looks so plain, I'm not a fan of that Burberry belt either. I don't like that new Burberry logo, but that's iconic in terms of the check, but I don't like that big B. I just wanted to mention belts because belts are such a good accessory to pull together a whole look, and I just thought it was worth mentioning that too. So those are my picks for this video. I've actually done, as I've said to you before, a whole video on 10 low-key luxury bags I own and love and recommend. So if you wanted more options, I will link that above and in the description box below. But this one here, I just wanted to interject it with some newer ones that are still on my wish list. Obviously, I wanted to show you my new Bottega and also tell you ones that, even though they're low-key, I just think you should avoid because they're not worth it. So what did you think of my choices? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know below. I also wanted to quickly finish off by saying a massive, massive thank you to you. I cannot believe the response to my Mim shirt, which yes, I'm wearing the white version, but it comes in, you know, 4 other colors. Wow, I'm just so grateful for you guys and that you love the design, you love the 2-in-1. I'm just wearing it casually. I've actually just got it knotted up, as you would have seen from one of my mod shots. So yes, my code is still valid. I'll leave it all in the description bar below, but my code still works, the MIM 15 off, if you wanted an extra 15% off from Lily Silk for my exclusive shirt. But I just really wanted to come on here and just say thank you for that as well. So that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this buy and avoid in terms of low-key luxury bags and a belt. Thank you so much again, guys. Have a wonderful day or night, and I will see you in my next video.